Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotsuben and Friends where we read and watch the inspirations behind Ace Attorney. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And two good friends of ours, Tiago.
Yo.
And Rose.
Hi. I got so distracted I almost didn't know my own name there.
You found it.
Found it. We are all longtime fans of Ace Attorney, and we hope that through our perspectives, it'll reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for all the media we discuss. Our intro music is by Lace, and you can find all her other work at leiss.bandcamp.com. Today we're discussing the second half of G.K. Chesterton's The Innocence of Father Brown. These are the latter half of the book, 6 more stories of the short story collection here. They were all published in a bunch of various magazines and other locations, and then, many years later, then we're all kind of gathered up in this collection here. Today we've all covered 6 more here. So of those stories, the first one in this second batch, In the Wrong Shape, old Chester saw us having too much fun last time and decided to write a real racist one right off the bat to humble us and bring us back down to earth.
This one's such a bummer.
Real talk, we read these in batches, so I think I read this one right after we recorded or something like that. Completely fucking forgot about how racist this one was.
Yeah, they hard R it.
They do, and also just everything.
Yeah, everything going on here. Yeah, Father Brown and Flambeau navigate a web of insane old-timey racism and a strange house layout to solve the murder, of a famous writer who is ill and is then killed by his own doctor, who confesses the second he has any pressure put on him at all.
Boo! Shut the fuck up, Friday!
I feel like there's a lot more context to this story, but I don't even know.
Well,
I
got to summarize it in about a sentence or two. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah,
editing.
No, I get it. There's editing. I'm just like, do we even go into it?
I mean, we should talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. We should at least say what the wrong shape is, what the wrong shape refers to, right?
Would you like to describe it?
The wrong shape or the story?
The wrong shape.
Well, it's
within the story.
The wrong shape within within the story. No.
No?
No, I mean
you don't wanna? Okay.
All right.
It was the only part of this story that was worth anything. Everything else about it was just sort of oh yeah,
this is racist.
The Indian guy did it because scary.
He's a mystic.
And it was spoilers. He didn't do it, but it was just weird that they spent so much time on it like that.
Yeah,
and it does feel like a bit of a like Chesterton is trying to maybe play into some of the reader's apprehensions about
he's
non-white
you guys
people
are being racist
right?
by thinking, but it's no, you, sir.
even if we put with bracket the contextual racism of the story, Chesterton is writing these characters and some of these characters are behaving racist, right? If we put those brackets around it and try to pull ourselves back, some of the stuff that Chesterton writes is unfortunately still very racist.
Yeah, and I don't care for Father Brown's conduct in this.
No, he doesn't come off looking great.
No, this is the least I've liked Father Brown. So really a rough one coming off the last episode where we're haha, funny little guy.
And then immediately goes into the
really smacked us around this time.
The religions of the East are strange and not with our godly
evil
ways.
With their non-English script, and I'm fucking boo.
God hates sans serif font. He only likes serif font.
That doesn't make any sense, but what an amazing sentence. I want God hates sans serif font on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Serif.
And there's a whole bit where Father Brown talks about how he hates well, not that he hates, but that he finds the carpet's patterns from the Far East bewildering and possibly even demonic in how their patterns are. You know?
Bro, they're nice carpets. I don't know what your
And
fucking
it's just like,
issue
come
is.
on, man.
Just a carpet.
It's so scary.
I'll talk a little bit about the wrong shape because that is relevant to how the murder was solved. In which that so this guy, this poet, he was known for just writing shit down on pieces of paper as soon as he had an idea, and he wrote something down. But the piece of paper itself had a corner ripped off of it after he said, "I have killed myself," and it's on a new page. And so what happens is Father Brown goes, why does the corner have the thing missing? And the doctor went, oh, he actually does that to all of his pages. Isn't that a little quirky? And Father Brown simply went, no, I think that's where he was going to finish the story that he was clearly writing. This wasn't his suicide note. It was part of his story. I think you took the corners off. And the doctor went, okay.
You got me.
Okay,
You got me.
and writes a written confession.
Literally. So, the motivation for the doctor's murder is, he was in love with the poet's wife. Oh, a tale as old as time.
We have to invent divorce.
I know, nobody's thought of it yet at this point in history.
I just think that,
Well, I think, were they not happy? I forget.
Yeah, she seemed unhappy. Father Brown mentions that she's the idea is she's very beautiful and well put together, but she's unhappy, and he's the only person who notices that. I don't know.
She hates that her husband has this weird house and that he has decorated it with such foreign.
You married
art.
a fucking poet. What the fuck did you think they were gonna be like?
Salary man.
I mean, it sounds like he was also kind of a weird fetishizing freakazoid, but
yeah, he was the other direction of the racism.
Yeah. It's
thing.
I guess if I had to pick one, at least he doesn't think the carpet is demonic.
Father Brown, I do need to see your thesis on that on my desk by this Wednesday. The carpet, bro, it's just a pattern. Have you never seen a pattern?
It's important for us to remember that despite everything, Father Brown is in fact Catholic, and we've just sort of gotta...
Yeah. We still gotta deal with all that baggage as a result of that.
Yeah.
I was about
rip to Pope Francis, I guess.
Dude, timely.
Yeah.
Dude, I should have applied. I think the funniest tweet I put out after that was simply, I should have applied.
You should have. No, it's fine. It's my family's in shambles because we're Cubs fans, you see. So it's
that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So we're one extremely Catholic and two Cubs fans.
So isn't the new Pope great for you? What's the problem?
Well, you see, he's not a Cubs fan. He's a White Sox fan.
He's from Chicago.
There's two teams.
Oh, there's two teams? Okay.
It's like the Yankees and the Mets, Tiago.
No, the Mets are different. The Mets are from New York, and New York Yankees are from New York, the state.
I don't know enough about sports to tell you whether that's true or not, actually.
There's just two teams. It's just
I was just always under the impression that the New York Mets was specifically for the city, and the Yankees.
All I know about the Mets is love the Mets, baby.
Yeah, love the Mets, baby.
We love the Mets.
It's so clear that I'm from Boston.
I confess ignorance to all sports-related stuff here that we're talking about, right? I mean, I know that Chicago has two teams, but that's about it.
We're all elder millennials, which means that we grew up saying "superb owl" as a joke once in our life.
Yeah,
but we've matured past that.
We've all done it.
Tiago,
we all must admit to it. Confess your sins.
When Tiago and I were in middle school, elementary school, the Red Sox won the World Series for the first time in however many billion years, breaking the curse.
Yeah.
We survived the curse.
That's something you can tell your children.
So long ago.
Back in the days where you could afford an Xbox.
Now we're bad also.
And we can't afford an Xbox.
So I'm okay. The Sox
we
are
used to
doing great
have
right now.
We used to have Steve Jobs.
We used to have video games. Now there's no more video games.
We used to have Steve Xbox. Michael Nintendo.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry I brought
Bob
up the
Sony.
Pope.
So it's incredible that we have so little to say about the story that we've just gone into the Xbox Pope.
So this poet, do you think, what's the Indian fan equivalent of a weeaboo?
Oh, I don't know.
I worry that I could say something that would be racist no matter what.
I'm with Rose on that one.
Do you know those white women movies where they travel and eat food in a different country?
Like fucking Eat, Pray, Love or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Like, this poet could just be played by, like, Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
There you go.
I do.
Yeah.
I am picking up what you're putting down.
I got nothing.
Anyway, if any of our listeners who are allowed to say it, right, want to talk about what they think the weeaboo equivalent, for somebody who's like way too into Indian culture without being from India, right? Like, let us know. I'd love to know.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
British,
like a Bollywood like type thing, like Bollywood, yeah, like something like that.
God, we should do that instead of K-pop bands.
Yeah, what if you're really big into Bollywood films?
K-pop bands are perfectly nice. I love the dancing and the singing. I just think we should try something new for a little bit.
What about another country's dancing and singing?
Yeah. Mix it up.
Rose, I like how you're trying so hard not to bring up your personal biases. Like, I know that you've been personally attacked by K-pop bands.
We can't talk about that because it's related to my job, which is a secret.
Didn't we talk about it on the...
I have been personally victimized by K-pop, and
If
you or a loved one has been victimized by K-pop.
It was in a professional situation, so I don't hold any ill will. It was just like a really unfortunate occurrence, which again is such a weird way to like beat around the bush, but
it makes it more mysterious the way you have to talk about it than what it really is.
And you will not be disappointed, listeners, when you find out what has happened to me.
One day. Do you want me to just take us into the second story?
There's nothing fun in this one. The twist is just kind of like okay.
The twist is that
was difficult.
The doctor did it. He folded immediately like origami.
Yeah, that was kind of the fun part, was that he folded like a wet paper bag.
Yeah, he had like an Indian dude living on his house because he traveled in India and simply went, all right, this guy can come back. And the guy was like, yeah, I'll come back, whatever. He's just chill. That guy was just super chill. He was just like minding his own fucking business.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next.
He didn't want anything.
Yeah, he didn't want anything. He was fine. He was a chill dude.
He'd had it sorted. You don't need to want anything. You're good.
He didn't want anything so much he said it 3 times.
Fucking solved it.
And Father Brown doesn't believe him, which again, just his
Catholic.
biases just on full display here.
Catholic.
Anyway.
Oi.
All right, so the second story that we covered this section is in the Sins of Prince Saradine. Father Brown and Flambeau visit a rich prince who is actually the prince's brother, but then dies at the hands of the original prince's son, who appears for revenge. The butler kind of did it.
Bro, Inigo Montoya'd this story before.
Yeah, I actually do like this one.
This one was a little
kind
more
of fun.
Yeah.
I like the bit at the beginning. Did anybody else like note this sentence at the very start when they're talking about Flambeau and Father Brown being in the boat? At first, you're only told that Flambeau is going on this trip.
Yeah.
And it says that Flambeau had stocked his boat with such things as his special philosophy considered necessary. They reduced themselves apparently to 4 essentials: tins of salmon, if he should want to eat; loaded revolvers, if he should want to fight; a bottle of brandy, presumably in case he should faint; and a priest, presumably in case he should die.
Yeah, honestly.
That's the most gay thing that Chesterton has ever written about Flambeau and Father Brown so far.
I think they're funny.
It's really good.
I just think they're two dudes hanging out and they're great friends. I think
it's fine too. That's fine too. I just love the way that he describes this. That's what he's packing his suitcase with. He put little Father Brown in his suitcase. I can't actively look
for that kind of subtext when there's a Catholic involved. So.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm right here. No, I'm not. I'm not right here.
You're not right here. You're not Catholic.
Culturally Catholic.
I like this story a lot because he spends the first part of it describing the almost like Fae-like entrance into this dude's domain, which is he owns like a mansion on an island in the middle of a river.
Yeah.
And he has to like drive, he has to like take his boat to it. He like sees a guy on the shore like, I'm looking for the princess house, and the guy on the shore just like points further down the river. And then
ominous.
Father Brown's just like, people have lost their lives due to Fae Woods, which makes me think that Father Brown has personally fought the Fae or some shit like that.
I never said it was wrong to enter fairyland. I only said it was always dangerous.
I actually agree with Father Brown in this case.
Yeah, no, that's actually correct.
You should watch your shit when you go into fairyland.
But like, okay, man, Father Brown's having other adventures outside of Flambeau's purview. Like, while he's with Flambeau, every episode, it's just an episode of Psych. But once he leaves Flambeau's sight, it turns into like fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Listen, you can go to fairyland. It's no problem. You can have a good time. Just don't expect to not wake up with your pockets full of leaves and it's like 10 years later.
Yeah,
and you
maybe
think you've only spent a night, you know?
Yeah.
I believe that fat man with whiskers was a fairy, said Flambeau. Perhaps, remarked Father Brown impartially. If he was a bad fairy.
Damn.
Father Brown would have not accepted Tingle.
Fuck, dude. Not my man, Tingle.
Father Brown would have been like
Father
Tingle's
Brown
dad.
homophobic moments.
Ooh. I was thinking about that.
Not another one to the board.
I mean, here's the fact. Is
the
like,
Catholic, oh my god. It's like a drinking contest where you go in expecting to die.
I feel like after reading all the Father Brown stories, I just have to accept he's my problematic uncle. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like,
you listen, yes, we are giving a little bit of wiggle room here, but I gotta bring it up when it's funny like that.
Yeah, I just feel like if I'm at the party, he's gonna hand me a cigarette and beer when I'm 16 and then go like, don't tell your mom. Then also be like, so I don't really quite understand the multiple pronouns things. What's up with that?
I mean, that implies that he's trying, which is
exactly.
Something.
I think he would absolutely try. I just also think he wouldn't quite get it on the first glance.
You know what? That's
Unless
okay.
Yeah.
The Father Brown definitely, in the stories that we have read, has the vibes of somebody who is like slightly more progressive at times than the people around him, right? Because he is in like often his behavior is described as being very friendly and very open with people and that kind of stuff. And later like renditions of Father Brown, like some of the later TV shows and stuff like that, have leaned into that by actually writing him as more progressive than he was in these original stories, right? To the point where like it,
I think that's okay,
like,
actually.
controversial at times, right? But I think that's fine as well.
Yeah, I think
but
that's
that has come
cute.
up.
I didn't know there was a TV show.
I didn't know there was a TV show.
We talked about it in the first episode.
You don't remember everything we've ever talked about, bro?
I tried really hard.
Okay, I lost that
Did
information.
anybody else listen to the audiobook?
No.
Okay, I listened to the audiobook that Ben put in there, and they make Father Brown sound like C-3PO.
Okay,
so now that's just how it is. I need you guys to listen to it.
Okay, well that doesn't
just go in and listen to a couple of lines and tell me
that
he
doesn't
like
make
C-3PO.
him less gay.
Does it make him
Yeah, I was
more?
gonna say, if anything.
I met C-3PO.
So we go to this island.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
No, we gotta run
also,
through
Tiago, before you continue, again, I'm so sorry. I actually have one more thing that I was really curious about because I noted. There's a line that Father Brown says. He says, never mind, one can sometimes do good by being the right person in the wrong place. This is a turn of phrase that I know very well because I'm a big Half-Life fan. That phrase shows up in Half-Life. And I was like, I wonder where this phrase comes from, actually. Is Father Brown quoting a Bible verse that I've just forgotten about, or is this from something else? Apparently, this instance of Father Brown saying those words in that order is the oldest known utterance that we have, like, written down of this turn of phrase.
So that means whoever, one of the writers in Half-Life fucking read Father Brown.
Might have stolen it from there, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all that to say, I was just like, right person in the wrong place. It's shown up in a couple other places. Other people have used it, right? It's not like it's uncommon or anything like that. I'm not saying that this is like, I'm not even saying it was invented here. I was just curious, like, where did this turn of phrase come from? And yeah, everybody was like, well, as far as we can tell, it was showed up in this Father Brown story first, but
the last time I thought about
it might
that
be somewhere else too.
The last time I thought about a turn of phrase that I didn't know the answer to was never stare a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, because you're checking its teeth.
Yeah, because the teeth will tell you how old the horse is and how good of health it's in.
Yeah.
Horses are scary.
I feel like this
are kind of scary.
Okay, we gotta keep moving. There's
no horses
in
in the story.
All right, no horses in the story. We'll get to the horse story later. This story is about this guy goes on an island and he goes and he sees his butler who's like kind of looks really good and it's like, oh, that's crazy. And then he goes on to see the prince of the island. He looks kind of like a schmuck and he goes, that's kind of strange, whatever. And then we see this woman who's like there. She's the only woman I've seen on this story. That's the remaining information that I have about her.
True.
She's Italian.
We find out that like the prince has like a debt to his brother in some way or another, and also a very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like salacious relationship with his wife, in which that he like stole his wife from a baron or something like that, and the baron killed himself in despair. But of course, dear reader, it was not fucking suicide. It was the prince killing the husband so he could get the wife. But there was also the baby of this husband who is now killed, who grew up to become a little Napoleon. Because apparently he fucking docks his ship on this island with like 4 dudes and says, Prince, come out here and fight me and kill me.
My father, prepare to die.
Yeah. They fight 2...
Also, he's Sicilian, just so you guys are aware.
He is called the Sicilian, that's important.
Yeah, he is Sicilian, which means he's honor-bound to avenge his father.
Incredible that they have a fight to the death. Father Brown tries to go get fucking police. Flambeau's fishing, and he's totally fine.
He's completely oblivious to all this.
My main problem with this story is just that, like, I feel like this continues in the later stories. They, like, give Flambeau, like, the main character's stupid gene, where I'm like, where's the cool guy? Where's the cool guy? I got 2 different policemen to arrest each other. Like, what? Right. Where are you? Come out.
He has to just be like, I don't understand what's going on, Father Brown. Do you get it?
That's so annoying. Yeah. Let him do something cool, please.
It's weird that we had this like Arsène Lupin character type get turned into like a lesser effective Watson.
Yeah. And they talk about how like, oh, he's a very successful private detective. He's solving the other cases. He's clearly doing something right. We just never get to see it.
Yeah.
Kind of sad.
Shame.
Anyway, Sicilian kills the prince, and then Father Brown goes, that wasn't the prince. The prince was the butler, who's so in debt to his brother because he's being blackmailed that he gave him his identity for like one day. I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes I read these stories and I went, alright, get to the fucking point. We get it. There's a lot of words here. This may have been one of them, but I remember the point of this is that, like, alright, Flambeau, low-key, you're kind of responsible for all this because you gave him the idea of having 2 detectives arrest each other. Why not have his 2 enemies kill each other? Hi! Very Faye-like technique.
I don't think Flambeau is responsible, but...
No, I don't think Flambeau's responsible either. I'm just trying to think about what I'm thinking about.
He is responsible because he has the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2, and he spent his entire time fishing in the middle of fucking nowhere instead of coming to help.
I mean, honestly, yeah, you gotta
know.
Yeah, but he always is like fucking not doing shit. Like, he's always fucking off or some shit like that. Like, Father Brown's always in the right place at the wrong time. And fucking...
That's why it's Father Brown's books and not Flambeau.
Okay, but then why they make Flambeau,
why is he so cool?
Like,
I know.
Why is he like the coolest guy?
Why is he tight as fuck? I do like this story a lot. I do like how it was kind of explained to us in the beginning, because Flambeau even goes on to talk about, like, yes, the reason I'm invited here is because of this cool trick I pulled once. And then at the very end, Father Brown goes, "Don't you remember your cool trick, sir? Your cool trick that just happened right here in front of us that caused the death of a man? Cool trick."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Flambeau's like, maybe it was all a dream.
Ooh, maybe it was all Faye and none of that happened. And Father Brown's like, no, that shit happened. There's a corpse. The police are
Someone's dead.
Someone's dead!
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I like this one more than the racist one.
Well, that's not
easy
hard.
bar to clear, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna compare
it a little more fun. You see the twist coming, but like in a way that I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Onwards.
Sins of Prince Saradine. The next one is In the Hammer of God. Father Brown solves the greatest mystery of all.
Gravity.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. Also, the atheist cobbler is baller as hell.
Yeah, no, he's...
Oh my god, yes!
This dude rocks.
Yeah, this guy's
guy was
tight
like,
as
"Shut
fuck.
the fuck up, Friday."
Wait, was it
That's
like...
what I came out of this story of two brothers who hate each other. Whatever. I don't care about this. Tell me more about this cobbler and his hot wife.
This cobbler and his hot
the
wife.
blacksmith is...
The blacksmith was the guy with the wife. The cobbler
sorry,
was
right,
the...
yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
cobbler
the-
was like, don't talk.
The cobbler is the guy who was like, "They can't fucking arrest you if you don't say shit."
Yeah, actually shut the fuck up.
We have the blacksmith with the
We all
attractive wife, and then
remember.
the cobbler. And then, of course, the cobbler. Father Brown notes multiple times that he's atheist, as most cobblers are. He says, which is also
an
really
insane
funny.
thing to say.
Was that a reputation at the time for cobblers to not?
When your
not be
life-
Christian?
when your life-
atheists.
When your life boils down to simply making and fixing shoes,
you start looking
is
at...
it really that bad of an ideal to think that maybe you think God has forsaken you enough that you don't believe in him?
Wait, let me think about this. I can pull something out of this. If you work on shoes long enough, you look up at everyone as if they are God, and then you realize they're only man.
I don't know.
Was that-
Didn't Jesus
maybe.
wash people's feet? Isn't that kind of adjacent?
He did. Ben here in the edit. I was actually really curious about why this was in fact the case. And so I decided to go ahead and do a little Googling on it and found a very good Reddit post on our Ask Historians about this. And the thing is that there's actually no good answer for why this reputation exists. No, at least one good answer, but there's a bunch of little things that all add up. Apparently, skilled artisan workers were one of the big constituencies of the Jacobins during the French Revolution, and radical artisans were something that showed up a lot in the mid to late 1800s. And I guess shoemakers and cobblers, as a result of their, the exact industry they were in, were very valued, and you could see their work. So they had a certain job security that allowed them to be more vocal about their political opinions. So if you were a radical, cobbler, you could speak up without worrying about the repercussions as much. So that's really cool and fascinating. So that kind of came up as one bit. Also, it seems like they had a bit of a reputation as a sort of folk philosopher. So they interacted a lot with tanners who were often not well liked because tanning is a stinky, smelly process. And it is often seen as, a lower caste type job. But, shoemaker has to interact with tanners because of the nature of the thing that they're making. So that apparently, could have influenced them as well. They were seeing the differences in the castes and, class struggle there. And I guess also they're a bit of a small businessman in the true small sense, dealing with buying materials, collecting, the materials for their work, and then having to deal with debts, business, selling, making a profit, all that stuff, and dealing with both the average person and the wealthier folks as well. So I guess, there was apparently there were some famous radical cobblers as well out there. So all those things added up to give them that reputation, it seems like. So I would love to learn some more about it. If anybody knows more, feel free to sound off in the comments. But I figured I'd add that little tidbit in here for everyone.
I don't know. Didn't Jesus wash people's feet? Isn't that kind of adjacent?
He did.
Yeah, but he has no shoes on, so there's nothing to cobble.
Pretty sure they were wearing sandals.
I never saw Jesus' feet.
Birkenstocks.
That can't be true.
How do you know whether or not I saw feet?
There's pictures of people painted pictures of him. You can see his feet in them.
I haven't seen a picture.
Wiki feet.
I'm not looking up
Christ.
Jesus on Wiki.
I was gonna say, what
Yeah,
Jesus' foot ranking on Wiki feet?
No.
Is that sacrilegious to ask?
Oh, hold on. My grandma is calling me on the phone. I gotta go.
Yeah, she.
I'm in trouble.
She says, "I don't like your friends.
I'm in trouble.
Your friends are committing sacrilege on your podcast." There's a very good line at the very start of the story, which says, Norman, his elder brother, was by no means devout and was sitting in evening dress on the bench outside the Blue Boar, drinking what the philosophic observer was free to regard as either his last glass on Tuesday or his first on Wednesday. The Colonel was not particular.
Hell yeah,
so
King.
Fucking good.
God, that's the fucking life.
It's kind of incredible to me that, there's two brothers. One of them became a devout priest, and the other one just had a good fucking time. I like the...
I mean, I don't know. He seemed like he was a little bit of a creep himself, but...
I don't recall that much. I just remember that out of one of the two people that lived, it was the not cool one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the case, right? The case is that he's been found dead. His head has essentially been fucking splatted onto the ground.
Yeah, squished like a grape.
And the only thing they could find next to him was a tiny hammer. And then they go, all right, who did it? And they go, well, it must not have been the big man, because if it was the big man, why would he grab such a tiny hammer? And it could not have been the woman nearby, because
women are weak and can't pick up hammers.
Because women can never pick up hammers.
Well,
It's
they
true.
do make the point where they're like, yeah, this woman that he was messing with, yeah, she hated him.
Yeah, no.
I was like, okay, yeah, so this guy does suck, actually.
Yeah, it does kind of suck. But also doubtful that this woman would have pulled a fucking ball peen hammer and fucking killed this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe, but not in a way that would have squished his head like a grape.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So of course, Father Brown does the most rational thing possible and think outside the box. Meanwhile, everyone accuses the cool Chad blacksmith. I almost called him a cocksmith.
Even though he was
Buddy.
out of the area and 10 people can vouch for him.
Yeah, he was out of town. He walked into town and he simply said, I'm not going to I'll give you, as a Christian man, I'll give you the opportunity to not embarrass yourself, officer. Reconsider this arrest. And I think that's so funny to be like, honestly, I don't give a shit about your career, but if you want to get embarrassed, think about this,
Yeah, he's like, I got two dudes with me, and they can attest that I did not.
The whole town can attest.
Yeah, the whole town that I was in, the next town over, they can all attest I was there. And you know what else they can all attest? That I didn't throw a fucking hammer from one town over to the next town. I'm strong, but I still couldn't do that. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have not mentioned, but there is another person here who, please, forgive me for using the terms that the book uses here, but Mad Joe who's a person with a mental disability here.
Mhm.
And they obviously go into some other phrases
They
for
call him
him.
an imbecile a lot.
Oh yeah,
So-
the
He
ableism.
seems fine.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
yeah, he just seems like a normal person who's just got a mental disability, right? He just seems like a normal dude.
Oh, the
Yeah,
atheist cobbler is here, and he's like, you don't have to talk to the cops.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you say if you're being
Correct.
detained?
Yeah, what if
Officer,
you
am
say
am I
you're being
being
said, you know
detained
the
or am I
29
free
words.
to go?
Am I free to go?
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot that the priest was like, it must have been the town idiot who did it. We can't.
Well,
That
and,
we
and
can't.
he's immediately like, you can't possibly do anything to him. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. My brother was
Right.
throwing trash at him. Like, you know, he cannot be blamed for murder.
And there's this like brief moment then. Well, yeah, sorry, I guess I should get, because yeah, there's something that's like a part of this that is like interesting and also like disappointing, right, at the same time, right? Because as Father Brown takes the other brother up the church tower, you know, where he would pray every day, and he's like, you know, from all the way up here, and he has actually pretty good speech. He's like, you know, when you're standing up here, everybody just looks like ants, you know? Just feels like it would just be so easy. Just make one go squish, right? What if you just dropped a hammer from all the way up here and let gravity do the work, you know? And he's like, okay, I get it. How'd you know? But yes, Father Brown says this one thing where he's like, it was, at the very least, it was, he says something like, that makes it sound like he almost approves of it in a way. He's like, well, if you were going to blame anybody, at least it was good of you to blame the, you know, Mad Joe, because he wouldn't go to prison for it. Nobody would blame him because of his disability, kind of thing. And it's just like, well, all right. I don't know if we should deal with that far.
Take.
Kind of a weird way to phrase that.
Yeah, I think
Father Brown.
that's something where it's like, I think that would have translated better at the time, where people would be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Whereas like now we're like, I don't know, man. That's no good.
Yeah.
It was so wrong at the time, obviously, but that's definitely the sort of thing that would have flown a lot better back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this like little walk that they have up to the top of the tower, and then this kind of chat that they have there. I do think that this is pretty... He
specifically says, "Oh, we're doing this as a Catholic confession, so I'm sworn to secrecy."
Well, I'll trust that you do the right thing.
And he does. It works.
Yeah, it was pretty clear.
He confesses. He runs back down and confesses.
Still better than the racism story, but I forgot about the slight ableism, and by slight I mean it's just there.
The ableism.
The ableism. Well,
but you know what? Brown... Fun twist. Much more fun twist than the last one.
That's true. I do like this twist. Oh no, I like the twist of the previous one with the brothers. I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, I forgot about the brothers.
Yeah, no, we still think that the Indian one is probably the worst story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
The hard R is a difficult one to chew.
Yeah.
Twoo. So
you know what? I kind of had a feeling it was coming. Was I was reading that, I was like, it's only a matter of time.
So one of you does it.
But you know what? The doctor said it, and that was the murderer. So fuck him.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, the doctor was the murderer, the one who
yep.
did the hard R.
But yeah, I like that, at least for Hammer of God. I like that we kind of have all these characters that just are kind of like the officer, the cobbler, the blacksmith, like they're all just kind of there in the you know, like town square, just talking it out around this dead body, just being like, all right, let's figure out what's going on here, okay? You know, like, and they just start to like try to, you know, rationalize what happened. And I think that's kind of fun because all the characters are get a little bit of characterization real quick, and they all start to bounce off each other pretty handily.
Yeah,
so
I felt like that was kind
good.
of my Ace Attorney moment for this like segment was when everybody was standing around going, well, here's my theory, try and disprove it, Father Brown, you know?
Right.
Like, it definitely felt like I was going like, let me find a inconsistency with that, you know?
No, it turned out the blacksmith's thing was so fucking airtight because it was just straight up correct. And also he spoke like he was a fucking, like, cleric in a fantasy novel.
Yeah, he was definitely your first witness, where you like, this is a red herring.
Yeah. Everyone saw a hammer and went, it was the blacksmith, and the blacksmith said, I wasn't here.
Yeah, and also, like, he's the only man in town physically strong enough to smash someone's head like this.
Yeah, no, it was the blacksmith who was the only one who could fucking squish this dude's head. And
Except it wasn't, haha.
Except it wasn't, haha. And also, women can't squish men's head. Except for when they...
Women can't even lift hammers, haven't you heard? They're so delicate and dainty and weak.
I have a drill. It's pink.
I was thinking about doing the horn dog bit of like, oh, a woman could squish her head with their thighs, and I immediately went like,
she could squish my head with a hammer too. It's okay.
Yeah, fuck it. Honestly, give me the hammer. So far, this is better than the racist one. I don't know if I like this one more than the brother one with the switcheroo. I kind of like this one more than the previous one with the Island Brothers.
I felt like this one was a little more fun because I got to participate in the mystery a bit more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, Atheist Cobbler is just such a funny fucking character.
The Atheist Cobbler.
I love him.
I love the blacksmith, and I keep trying really hard not trying to call him the other thing that I said earlier.
Right,
Tiago,
well,
I support you.
In the next story, The Eye of Apollo, Father Brown visits Flambeau at his new office, who has a cult leader that worships the sun in the same building, and then murders a blind woman to take her inheritance. Thankfully, the cult leader is thwarted by the woman's sister, who made sure that she had an empty pen and didn't sign her savings away. Also, the sun.
Oh, the sun.
Thank you. Iron, I got to hang out in real life, and as we do every time when we hang out in real life, we get to do the sun bit together, which is so much fun. Shout out to Sunless Sea. Yeah, this is really cool games. Thanks.
I like this one. I don't have any qualms with it. I think the only thing that kind of gets me is that I forget where in like time Father Brown exists, because there's an elevator, there's a lift, right? And I'm like, when were
there's
lifts
a lift,
invented?
but it requires a young man to drive it for you. So we're still old-timey.
And it doesn't have doors, which is key to this murder.
Yes, there's no doors in this, and like
there's no doors to the shaft, right, that it's in either. So you can just walk right into the open lift shaft without realizing it.
I wouldn't let my baby near the shaft, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no baby gates. There's no
baby gates, no
rickety sliding doors.
Oh my god!
Oh, the baby gate.
So
like, Flambeau gets a new office. In the new office, there's two offices above him. One of them is two secretaries. No, they're not secretaries. They're like accountants or some shit. They run an office together.
They're typists. They're typists. They literally like type stuff up for people, and they have their typewriters, and they're going ham and all that. And they describe one of them as like tall and thin, and one of them as shorter and rounder, right? So we've got our
Mario and Luigi,
Mario and
Luigi archetypes, the eternal comedy duo of short and tall. Yeah. So
and then above Flambeau is a cult guy, and his name is
cult guy.
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Let's see here. Callan, which is an Ace Attorney name if I ever heard one. Callan.
I feel like it's a pun.
Which is really fun because Flambeau also says the fellow is calling himself Callan. I don't know what his name is, except that it can't be that.
That's a really good fucking line.
I like this one because Flambeau is like sassy in this one.
Yeah, Flambeau's like kind of funny in this one. He's like my friend, and I love him.
It's important to remember that, I know that they mention he's French all the time, but, they're like, oh, he's sassy because he's French. I'm like, okay.
You cannot, the audiobooks do not let you forget he's French.
That's so fucking funny.
They read him in the most stereotypical French accent.
Fantastic.
That's hilarious.
while Flambeau is getting his office set up here, Father Brown becomes an acquaintance of the two typists, and he notices that one of them is passionate, driven, but also very strict and cold about becoming one of the best, and the other typist is a normal woman.
I mean, I think it's actually Flambeau who gets to know them a little bit.
Oh, was it not Father?
They live right above
this
him.
Is the first time that Father Brown is coming to this office.
Oh, I forgot that. Was Flambeau the one who told the story about the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes.
There we go. That was my misunderstanding.
I think maybe part of the reason I like this story is a lot of it is from Flambeau's perspective, so you get to see him be a little more
active.
That explains why Flambeau kind of hit on the lady, and I was like, that doesn't seem correct for Father Brown, because it wasn't.
Yeah, it was yep. Flambeau is briefly mentions that he's like, well, I was thinking about it. She seemed kind of interested. She was a little tough for my tastes, kind of thing.
Yeah, she saw that her sister was wearing glasses, took them off, and stomped on them, and simply went, "Glasses are admitting that you're weak. You should be your eyes should be strong." And Flambeau,
insane thing to say, ma'am.
Yeah.
Just patently absurd.
It makes more sense at the end when you realize at the time she's herself going blind and is
right,
just struggling with denial about that.
She has a interesting take on advancing technology, where she goes I believe women should be just as well adapted to machinery as the men, and we go, okay. And then she goes, I also don't believe in modern medicine or glasses, and I go, wait. That's that part.
Human beings are a collection of strange contradictions, I suppose, because I feel like I could describe multiple people that I know who are weird freaks about I believe this. Well, wouldn't that contradict this? This other thing that you believe? Absolutely not. I let those two things coexist. Okay. But yes, this cult leader has, we've learned then, has already gotten his hooks into the taller sister.
Yeah, because the taller sister says, I should be strong enough to stare at the sun.
Yes, he believes that if you're good enough, stout of heart and body, then you can just look directly in the sun. It won't do you any harm. In fact, it might even be good for you.
That's a wild sentence for anyone to say.
Thanks.
As someone... I actually, unironically, developed eye problems in elementary school because I stared at the sun. Listen, I won the money. We were betting on who could stare at the sun the best, all right? And I won money.
Yeah, the trick is it happens...
For the audience, I know the answer.
It happens really fast.
It happens really fast. Well, that's why I wear glasses now. So
yeah, I mean, listen, I had a delusion that I was gonna be the special chosen child because I could stare at the sun. Except for I tried it and it hurt really bad, and so I just didn't do it ever again. I was like, oh, I give up on this one.
Yeah.
Like some kind of solar chunibyo.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna go back to trying to use the Force. This is fine.
You can just say that, Ben. You can't just say those words in that order. What the fuck?
I was kind of proud of that one. I thought that was
kind of
That fucking hit me on the side of the head. I'm lightheaded. Oh my god. Anyway, this lady fell down an elevator shaft while this dude was giving a sermon up from his balcony. The cult leader, obviously.
Yeah, he called her, convinced her to walk towards the elevator. He's like, oh, I called it for you already. It's right there. But then he goes out on the balcony to give his speech so that he has an alibi, while she just walks right into the empty shaft and plummets to her death because she cannot see it.
Yeah. I think that,
this story has one of my favorite lines, where they hear this crash that she's fallen. They rush into the office, and Flambeau is the first one to find her because he's the main character for this one, more or less. And there's a line where it says he didn't know whether how much he liked her or didn't like her because there was much to like and dislike, but she was a person to him. And that was my favorite line, I think, from all the Father Brown stories so far, because sometimes you don't always get along with somebody. There's things about them that are good, there's things about them that are bad, but they're a person, and when they die unexpectedly, that, you know, that's a kind of emotion that's hard to deal with. So I thought that was really well written.
I also like what turns out to be the twist in this event, in which that, like, it turns out that the cult leader knew that she was gonna, draft a will to give me all of your money so I can donate it all to the solar god. Trust, it's all good. And then the will turns out to be, like, half written, and the other half is just, like, scratches on paper from a pen. And it turns out it's because the sister swapped out the pen and gave her a half-dead one so that the money would all go to the sister.
Yeah, because she's blind and she doesn't know when she runs out of ink, so she always uses a full pen.
Yep. Very interesting that 2 crimes here took place, and I'm actively rooting for the other one because the other one wasn't murder.
Yeah. She was just sort of like, I'm not gonna let my sister leave all of our money to this fuck ass.
And his like charade drops immediately once he realizes that
he's also he's American.
Yeah,
he's an American.
Yes,
this
is my like line. This is my most Ace Attorney thing, I think, is this guy, Callan, this cult leader, because when they describe them, he says he was nearly as tall as Flambeau and very much better looking, with a golden beard, strong blue eyes, and a mane flung back like a lion's. Then, also, he's secretly American. He lets his accent slip out when he gets flustered and freaks out, over this.
Which the audiobook reader does. He does the accents for all of the characters. It's so good.
Oh, that's delightful.
That's good. But yes, that's like a classic Ace Attorney breakdown, right? I can picture this guy looking a bit like Will Powers almost, right? But like bigger and grinnier, kind of character. And evil, big blue robes, with golden hair, and then just letting the American drawl slip out the second that you start to break him apart, on the witness stand.
They make him talk like a New Yorker, like a sly New York con artist.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
That's very good.
So I think this one was pretty fun, and you get kind of the double whammy of like the other sister knew that this was going on and intentionally was putting this pen out without all the ink so that she wouldn't be able to write out her inheritance to the cult. It's good. And also Flambeau gets to do more, and I always love more Flambeau.
We all love more Flambeau.
I think we just want like a Watson character who does more stuff, because Watson does stuff in the books,
Yeah.
Like he had the right mix.
This also has like the one moment where it seems like Father Brown is trounced, right? Like Flambeau,
like he embarrasses him.
Oh yeah.
Flambeau is like, this is like the first time I ever saw Father Brown go like, oh my god, maybe I'm actually wrong, right? Yeah,
because the sun guy lays into him, like he fucking goes, oh really?
He's like, I was out here the whole time. Like, what do you? I was never even close to her. How in the world could I have killed her? Right?
And also, I loved her. And if you can somehow convict me and send me to the gallows, I don't care, because it will be one step closer to her. Yada yada yada. Like,
right?
Okay, buddy, you're clearly very charismatic.
The killer doth protest too much.
So that's a pretty good one, I think. And then for the next story, we have The Sign of the Broken Sword, which, if I were the original editor, by the way, I probably would have put this as the final story. But anyway.
I do like this one.
This one goes hard as hell. Father Brown goes on a creepy hike, solves a mystery on the other side of the globe, riddles Flambeau constantly, and in the end, decides to keep the truth to just himself and Flambeau. And that does not really give much context about the story itself, but this one's really fascinating because they're talking about this man who's, dead now, but he's got graves. He's got, all across the, country, he's got bars and taverns named after him and the broken sword, like So like everybody around here respects him, but Father Brown keeps alluding. He knows that there's a secret that would ruin this reputation.
Ahi.
So there's some fun stuff, like, and then they're walking around and they keep describing like the trees and the wind and like the night sky and everything. It's just Chesterton's doing some really good evocative like visual writing to describe just what the environment's like as they're trekking around between these graves and you know, then they are going to a tavern later and that kind of stuff. And it's just good vibes. It's just really good vibes. And the whole time it's just the two of them talking about what could have happened and riddling each other back and forth. Flambeau like says the bit about like a wise man knows to hide his real diamonds with a whole bunch of fake diamonds, right? And that kind of stuff. So they're starting to seed
Hide
this
a pebble in the sand.
Yeah, and hiding a pebble in the sand, right? You know, starting to seed what this true crime could have been that this man did.
Which Flambeau says he had a bomb placed in his brain.
Yeah.
He had a bomb in his brain.
I feel like at this point Flambeau is just specifically pulling my leg by pretending to be stupid.
Yeah, he knows about you specifically, Rose, in the year 2025.
Yeah. Well, hey,
and
well.
Oh, yeah, you know, Ben, block out Rose's last name in that last sentence, please. Thank you.
I mean, you could probably find my name if you want to go looking for it. I don't know if
I should not dox you on the internet.
I wouldn't be too hard to find. I have an extremely distinctive last name, though, so...
Yeah, we'll block that shit.
You mean Ben?
Yeah, it's gonna be Ben. Thanks, Ben. God.
Ben, thanks for everything.
Ben, thank you so much. You're so smart and good looking
we would
and
never
funny
be able to do this
and talented
you.
and
You really
organized.
keep us organized. It's a
You're definitely
thankless task.
You're definitely more
Rain's
neurotypical
back.
than the rest of us.
That's so hard.
Oh, I'm blushing. Calling me neurotypical. That's sweet.
I like this one a lot because we never get to meet the actors in this story. It is simply just like Flambeau and Father Brown talking about the events as they occurred. And the story does revolve around the fact that like the initial event is simply, why would the general order his men to attack this enemy bank at like a really bad angle that would get most of his men fucking killed? And people were like, this because he's the bravest son of a bitch we know. And it's like,
or he was crazy.
Sir Arthur Clare, yeah. It's like he's a well-known general. He's always done amazing. He's been so smart, but then all of a sudden, he leads all his men, and it's an awful charge, and then he gets hanged after it. Like, what? Why? You know, why did he have this lapse of judgment at the end? And also the Brazilian
this is the
general that he was up against, Olivier. He is known for being like so generous with all of the prisoners of war and taking good care of them and releasing them, you know, later and all that stuff. But this one guy, Sir Arthur, he hangs him, you know, he's really cruel to this one guy. So why is, you know, so
what happened?
What's the story? Let's puzzle it out, Flambeau, as we take our creepy hike.
It was sweet. I really like this story. I like the conclusion it comes to. I almost don't even want to say it so that hey, if you're listening to this without reading the story, go read it. It's really good. This is, I think, my favorite Father Brown story.
I really like this one as well. And that was why, as I was reading it, I even felt like, I bet this is the last one in this collection, right? Man, this is a good one to go out on. And then, man, there must be a reason why. You know, I heard so many people say that Sign of the Broken Sword is like one of the best Father Brown stories. Like, damn, they were right. This one is pretty good.
This is so fun to me because I thought this one was like pretty good. I definitely agree it would have made a much better final story. I think that would have been the strongest choice. I think the writing is really great. I think the story structure is really great. I thought that, I don't know. I felt like the mystery I was sort of like meh on, but I enjoyed the structure. The writing is really well done.
This one's more vibes for me.
This
right?
is very
like
vibes.
The actual mystery is just fine, but like the vibes are good.
My brain wormed too
really
the whole
helps
time. I
elevate
was
it.
just like, man, I bet I could play these guys in the Civ universe of whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, man, I want this general to be the guy I play when I play Brazil in Civ 18 or whatever. Like, let me in.
Hey, shout out for the writer for just straight up respecting Brazil. No weird
yeah, it wasn't weird at all.
there.
He was like, yeah, the Brazilians, they were great fighters.
Yeah, we went to war with them, and it was completely it was a normal war. It was a normal. we made it really normal.
Great Britain can go to normal war with anyone.
Yeah, we went to normal war with Brazil, and it was actually normal, and we all went, "Huh, that's the wildest part."
Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't have Civ 7, by the way.
You want
probably for the best.
Hey, we're gonna start a crowdfund on the Ace Attorney Blue Sky to get Rose a copy of Civ 7.
No, don't get me a copy of Civ 7 because I can't run it on my PC.
Yeah, we actually got a crowdfund is Rose's PC.
And guess what CPU I'm still using? The answer might surprise you.
Our engagement bait for this episode. See if you can guess Rose's CPU and GPU.
Yeah.
Go.
That's the most like.
Your only hint? It's old.
Imagine like.
Your only hint is that it's the kind of parts list that the guys at Micro Center will gather around you and then like call some other guys over to look at.
This is like a weird carnival bit. Like step right up, guess the CPU in this desktop,
you
this
won't
tower.
Believe this shit is still
How many
working.
GPUs are in this jar? Good sir.
Good sir.
Oh, if you
I
get
would
the
actually...
number of GPUs, you get to keep them.
Yep, if you can guess the number, every single Radeon processor in here is yours.
I would love it if this was like a really dumb bit in like a cyberpunk story where it's like, oh yeah, I went to the carnival and the fucking guy was hawking CPUs or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway,
this is great. Anyways, back to the story.
Yeah, this one's good. I like it.
Yeah. Flambeau has a good line at one point where he says, "My stock of evil imagination is used up," when he can't guess what horrible thing actually happened. Because Father Brown keeps going, "Nope, it wasn't that horrible thing. Nope, wasn't that horrible thing.
No, it's another
Keep
horrible
guessing."
thing.
And he's like, my stock of evil imagination is used up. And I was like, yep, that's pretty good.
Well, that's cute, because, like, the original story for Flambeau is he's this master thief, you know, he's the Lupin, you know, but he never actually kills anybody. He goes out of his way to, like, pull comical pranks that don't cause any physical harm. He's not actually evil, which is why Father Brown helps him, you know?
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about that image of, like, there's, like, an image going around of Cream the Rabbit and Shadow the Hedgehog, and Cream going, "I just had 2 cookies today," and Shadow the Hedgehog going, "That's why I fuck with you, you're so goddamn real." And that's, I'm just imagining that relationship
with Father Brown.
With Father Brown and Flambeau.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, we can wrap up for this story, but I really like at the very end, then, the final lines are, "Come, it's cold," cried Father Brown. "Let's have some wine or beer. Or brandy," said Flambeau. That should be your final line of the collection.
It really
That's
should
it.
be.
That's it. Put a period on that. That's perfect. They're going in from the cold. They're going to go have themselves some good drinks.
They solved
but
a
no,
mystery.
We have to
They're
go
not going
into...
to tell anybody about it.
I know. They're keeping it to themselves. They're not going to tell the world about this mystery they solved because it's just too tragic. It's too dark. And instead, we have to go into another story, which is also tragic and dark, unfortunately, which is the 3 Tools of Death.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to there being too many murder weapons, Father Brown proves the butler didn't do it, but Santa Claus's alcoholism and the daughter's misapprehension did. A depressing tale for our final story.
This one is a real bummer.
This one's a bummer.
It's a real bummer to go out.
I don't feel good about this one.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Like, yeah,
bummer.
I disagree with Father Brown a little bit on here.
Why do you disagree with Father Brown?
Well, he says some shit where I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, he's like, oh, this guy's too cheerful. Like, he should have some wine to make him sad sometimes. And I'm like, hey, listen, buddy, if he's gone sober, like, let him be sober. And also, like, what's wrong with being a cheerful bitch all the time? What if it's the only thing keeping me together?
Right.
What if I'm literally held together with fake cheerfulness and duct tape? Like, come on, man.
I think I have a different view of it, because I was just like, my takeaway from the story was simply, hey, even if your friend sees super cheery, check in on them. You know what I mean? Because I did feel like a sort of kinship with this dude. You know, because sometimes you'd be all smiles because you feel like you have to be, and then it turns out it's empty. You know?
Right. Yeah, no, I can see both of those reads. The character that we're talking about here is a man who is kind of let's see here. His name is Is his name Royce, right? Did I have that right?
No, Patrick Royce is not the guy. Patrick Royce is the butler.
Oh, he's the secretary.
Yeah.
He's the guy working for him. Yes, sorry. Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Yeah. So, yes, he's described as being like Father Christmas, always smiles, big red rosy cheeks, you know, big tall guy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this house precariously perched over some train tracks.
It's
right,
it's
basically.
Some real like fucking series of unfortunate events shit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Just always rattles when the train goes by. He's got a daughter, and then yes, we mentioned Patrick Royce, like his kind of secretary / butler character, who works for him, who, as we later learn, is also romantically involved with the daughter, but he doesn't approve of it. But yes, it is established earlier on that he used to be in the drink and is no longer. He's been going sober. Yep, he's been going sober now. But of course, then yes, Father Brown, when we find him like just on the his body falling down the hill. Looks like it fell, out of the window of the top of this house. And I guess, yeah, it's because he was drinking, and Royce, tried to deal with it, but then it got messy. We had a knife involved. We had this rope involved. He was trying to use the rope to pull him back in through the window after Armstrong started to tumble out the window. But the daughter thought that he was trying to harm him. When she rushed into the room, she didn't realize what was going on, and she cuts the rope. And that was the last thing holding him on to the window. And that's how he plummets back down to the ground and rolls right next to these train tracks. And, yeah, so like everybody's like, well, we can't tell the daughter that she actually killed her dad, even though he was in a, drunken rage. We can't tell her that. And Father Brown's like, I think she can handle it. I'll tell her.
That's...
You should tell her.
I don't know if I could tell her. That's tough. I feel like it's gonna fuck with you if you know, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of a echo of the previous story. Not that I think that the previous story shouldn't have been the last story. I think that was definitely the correct choice that didn't get made. But where they they keep this secret. Part of the reason the secret of the guy who got killed was to protect his daughter from knowing how awful he was.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of a similar echo there of oh, we can't tell the daughter, and Father Brown's like, no, I don't know. I'll do it.
I think we should stop keeping secrets from her. Maybe we should treat her like a person.
Let's see.
I mean, I think we do treat her like a person. It's just that I don't know if I would personally want to know if I was responsible for actively killing somebody. You know what I mean? That's different.
Mm-hmm.
The guilt would eat at me for so long.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the counterpoint is what if you worry that maybe you did, but you don't know for sure.
Oh, that's true.
And yeah, not knowing would eat you. If you know that there is a chance, but you don't know for sure, that would eat you alive.
That's worse. Yeah. Everyone should read Dungeon Meshi.
Great manga.
Great manga.
One of the best.
I think.
Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where there's not necessarily a clear answer, and that's fine.
Yeah, this one has like a lot of setup. There's like going to get help via the train, and like different inspectors showing up, going in and investigating the room, looking at like all the different quote unquote murder weapons. There's gunshots in the floor.
And Father Brown gets let in because the detective in charge is like a fanboy of Flambeau's, like,
right,
which I think is cute.
Which is kind of, yeah, that's a fun.
Even though he doesn't appear in this story.
Something goes, that's my goat right there.
Yeah. So yeah, so I think at first it's fun, like trying to puzzle out what in the world happened here, because yeah, you have all these different moving pieces of what's with the knife, what's with the rope, what's with the bullets and the bullet holes in the floor. You know, why would somebody shoot the floor and not at a person? You know, that kind of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then like once you start to get to the reveals and you start to piece together what's happening, and it's all so grim and kind of depressing, it's just kind of like, damn, okay, all right.
And Father Brown,
I guess we'll wrap this one out, huh?
Father Brown kind of drops hints where like people are like, oh, it was such a happy house, and Father Brown's like, I don't know, he's not here anymore, and it doesn't seem all that happy, so maybe it was just him, like, maybe it sucks out here.
They describe the house as like something that actually kind of sucks because they're like,
yeah, a little foreshadowing.
House of Lies.
Yeah, there's definitely something that I don't know if it like fully like becomes a solidified point at all, but like yeah, Father, like you said earlier, like Rose, like about like yeah, Father Brown's like, it's not happy here, you know, and maybe that guy was like forcing his happiness, right? You know, and it was covering up, you know, something darker. But like, what does Chesterton want me to take from this? That I'm not sure. I don't know what he wants me to do with that.
It did kind of remind me of like the house being like right up against the train tracks, and they described the house like shaking with the train. Kind of reminded me of the Triplets of Belleville, which is a French animation that we all watch together, non-podcast related, just as friends. But they have this very sad house that the train tracks get built up against, and it kind of like makes the whole house shake, and it traumatizes the dog, and it makes everything rattle, and it just sort of reminded me of that, where it's like, oof, rough situation to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every 30 minutes, your whole life gets shook up a bit.
It's like the
and I don't live as near to the train as some people, but the cliche of living in the city and being so poor that you can't afford a decent apartment, so your apartment that you get has like no view and it's near the train, so it's always rattling. Tiago just goes,
I don't know what to say about this one, because it's like, I kind of see why it's depressing, because like, yeah, there's the man who's basically described as Father Christmas himself, and it turns out that he's so incredibly depressed that he kills himself, and it's like, like it's a,
I mean,
like,
maybe
I know
it'll work out okay for the other people.
Yeah, I think the other people will be fine. It's just one of those stories where it's like, yes, of like that guy that you know that is like extremely happy and everyone loves, he might just straight up be very unhappy, and you know, there's always more than the person than just what's on their face. Right. So that's why I took away from this was simply just like, hey man, check in on your friends, you know.
I definitely zeroed in on Father Brown and be like, I don't know, I think maybe he should drink. I'm like,
that
okay,
was crazy. That was a crazy sentence.
Listen, I love a drink. I am pro having a nice drink. I'm all for it. But like, I also have a lot of friends that are sober or just don't drink at all. And
I don't drink because I think alcohol tastes like ass.
That's because you're a super taster.
And that's okay.
This is their curse.
You know? I'm somebody who's like, I'm happy to drink more for me, but like, gotta respect people's boundaries, Father Brown. You're a priest. You should know that.
Yeah.
You should be applying your morality to wine. It's just wine, buddy.
Yeah, it's strange to like
Apply your morality to wine.
to apply morality to wine. No, it's also strange to just like, I don't know, man. Why is the priest telling me to get fucked up? Aren't you supposed to tell me to go find God? Like,
Well, he's the Catholic priest, so it's a little different.
That's the blood of Christ. Get crunk.
I don't know if Father Brown would say those words.
On the blood of Christ.
he would not say get crunk. I just think that like sometimes Father Brown's characterization changes depending on who's writing him, and so I'd really like it for them to be like a Bible of like what's very clear. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's only one person writing him. No offense, Tiago.
No, I know. I just think that he needs to get his shit together. He's gone and no longer here, but you know, I said what I said and I meant what I said. An elephant's faithful, 100%.
All right. Well, any other last thoughts about this collection of stories? Any of these here? I think we've covered all of them now.
Yeah, I
in this
mean,
section.
I don't know. The Broken Sword should have been the last one. We can just pretend it was.
Yeah, I think I will. In my heart.
If it was the last one, would you
that's the
still
last
want
one.
the train one involved in some way?
I feel
Yeah,
like
just swap them. It's
I
fine.
feel like it'd be
Okay.
a fine middle case.
Okay.
I just hiccuped. I'm sure that came through. I'm so sorry.
A little bit, but not
Yeah.
like.
That's okay. I
Yeah,
actually get the hiccups a lot, so it's a miracle it hasn't happened more often.
Because you drink so much.
No, I've been having this
Wow.
problem since before I was born. You're gonna ask my
I've known the
mother, and
hiccups since birth.
she will pontificate extensively about how I used to get the hiccups so bad when she was pregnant with me.
Damn,
it's
your
one of her
hiccup.
favorite stories.
You're hiccup coded.
I am. Well, I don't know.
What happened?
What do you
What'd
mean?
you
What
do?
happened? I think my
What'd
lungs are just fucked up.
I think you like. I don't know, man. I
Isn't
think
it usually your diaphragm that has the issue that causes it?
Yeah, but they're right like next to each other.
you cursed like a
I
wizard
mean, yeah,
or something.
that's true. One does force the other.
Like-
I
like
also have so far avoided this on the podcast, but I also like burp a lot, which made me extremely popular in like 3rd grade and not a lot since.
Yeah, it's kind of a pretty limited window of time.
Yeah. It's really you're at your coolest at first, second, 3rd grade. And now I'm like, this is probably a medical issue. I don't know. It's more inconvenient than anything. I think my lungs are weird. My doctor
Weird
says I'm fine.
lungs.
Okay. That doesn't
Alright.
mean shit with American doctors, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think my doctor's pretty
Depends on
cool.
the doctor.
I like her. I think she's neat.
Mm.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for us this week, folks.
Yeah.
That was The Innocence of Father Brown. 12 short stories. I thought most of them were pretty good.
The innocence of.
It's nice to get a look into Father Brown here and get a little taste of that. So yeah. You can keep up with everything that we do via our website, updatedautopsy.report. That has links to all of our episodes and links to all of our socials as well. We also have a YouTube channel, which features our Let's Plays and also other fun videos. That's at youtube.com/@Yotsuben. You can follow me on pretty much all social media at Yotsuben. Dessy, where can people find you?
I'm Dessy on Blue Sky. I got in early.
And Tiago.
You can find me at Tiago S. Dutra on various social medias, including on Blue Sky and the website formerly known as Twitter.
And Rose.
You can find me at Rose Nonsense on various locations, but mostly just Blue Sky at this point. Not really doing any other social media, and that's okay. You can also find me. I don't know, man. I'm just outside. The weather's getting better. There's baby geese outside. Walk down by the fence. You can see a bunch of little baby geese walking around. They're real cute. You can find me a
That's pretty good.
respectful distance away from the baby geese.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We hope that you will rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. We haven't had a review on Apple Podcasts recently, so if you get one in, we'll read it on air next episode. If you want to slide on in there.
We have done it before, and
leave
we
us a
will do
5-star.
it again.
So, yep. Next time, we will be discussing, I've shuffled things around, so this is going to be a surprise for everybody here. We will be discussing the 1974 film adaptation of Murder on the Orient Express, directed by legendary filmmaker Sidney Lumet.
Yeah.
We're going to do an easy one next time. We're just going to do a movie.
Yeah, sorry, I went on
and,
vacation.
Should be fun.
We're going on vacation,
Should be
and also
fun.
we're going to a con this weekend.
Oh, yeah. See you at Anime
We got
Boston.
stuff going on, so we're
recognize
taking
my
an easy
voice,
one
punch
next.
me in the face.
If you punch Rose in the face, I'm gonna have to square up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually,
Don't start a fight at a con, please.
You can't.
Yeah.
You won't be able to. I'm gonna be so cute.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I fucking forgot about Anime Boston. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
I did not forget about Anime Boston because it's gonna happen to us.